Hello everybody, welcome to YouTube channel Unricher Biology. Today we will do physiology of human being. We have already done the digestion in human being, digestive system in human being. Today we will do the respiratory system in human being, respiration. What is respiration? You know, in the body, energy is required to perform certain functions. And from where this energy comes? It comes from the food. Food after digestion, when it is absorbed in the intestine, it is then carried by the blood to the cell, to the tissue level, where the food contents, digested food contents, carbohydrates, or you can say amino acids, etc., they are fats, etc., they are oxidized and energy is released and carbon dioxide released as the byproduct. So oxygen is necessary for the oxidation to release the energy, and it is a necessity to remove the carbon dioxide outside to clean the body, so which is toxic to the body. So this process, taking in oxygen of the atmosphere and giving out of the, you can say, carbon dioxide, is called as the exchange of gases. It is called as the breathing. It is called as the respiration. So what is the respiration? It is nothing. It is exchange of air of the body with the atmosphere. That is breathing in oxygen, giving out of the carbon dioxide. Breathing in air, giving out the carbon dioxide. Various methods are adopted. The mechanism of respiration, or you can say the organs participating in respiration, it differs depending upon the level of their development of the organism or the animals, and also depending upon the habitat and the level of development, level of organization. It affects upon the mode of respiration, which organs they participate in the respiration. In sponges, coelenterate, and you can say flatworm, lower vertebrates, the other lower vertebrates, the respiration takes place through general body surface. There is diffusion of gases through general body surface. Oxygen is taken in and carbon dioxide is given out. It is released out. In case of earthworm, moist cuticle, it takes part in the respiration. That is, there is diffusion of gases through the cuticle, taking in of oxygen and releasing of the carbon dioxide. In case of aquatic arthropods and mollusca, they are present gills, which help in the respiration of the organism. In other tertiary animals, tertiary vertebrates, vascularized bag-like structures are present, which is called as the lungs. So lungs, they take part in the respiration. In tertiary arthropods, tracheal tubes are present, which help in the respiration. In case of vertebrates, gills and the lungs, they are the main organs of respiration. In fishes, depending upon their development, in fishes, the respiratory organs are gills. I have told you in case of classification also. In case of amphibians, the respiratory organs both are gills and lung. Gills at the larval stages, at the nymph stages, and lungs at the adult stages. In case of frogs, that is also amphibian, moist can also help in the diffusion of gases. In reptiles, in aves, in case of mammals, the respiratory organs, they are the lungs. Respiration takes place through the lungs. In mammals, the many organs, they take part, they help in respiration, and respiratory system is formed like this. So today we will discuss the respiration in case of human being. Respiration takes on human being takes place through nostrils. These nostrils, they are present on the upper lip, and many organs, they collectively take part in respiration. Some organs, they conduct the oxygen, they are transporting, they are conducting oxygen and giving out the carbon dioxide, and some At some places there is exchange of gases and oxidation occurs. Those are called as the respiratory surface. The organs which are conducting transporting oxygen in and transporting carbon dioxide out, they are called as the conducting part. They are the conducting organs, and the part of the respiratory system where exchange of gases occurs, they are called as the actual respiratory organs. So what is the respiratory system in case of human being? It starts with the nostrils. These are the nostrils present just above the lips, and these two nostrils, external nostrils, they lead into the nasal chamber through nasal passages. Then this nasal chamber leads into pharynx. Pharynx is the common passage of, yes, food as well as the air. From the pharynx, the air leads into tracheal tube passing through the larynx. Via larynx, it enters to the tracheal tube. This is the trachea. So pharynx leads into trachea through larynx. Larynx is the sound box. Sound is produced by it. It is covered by, it has an opening at the above side which is called as the glottis. It has flap-like structure upon the glottis, which is called as the epiglottis, and larynx is covered, the glottis is covered by epiglottis during food passage. When food is passed through the pharynx, the glottis is covered by the epiglottis. So pharynx leads into trachea through larynx, via larynx. This trachea then, in the upper thoracic cavity, it is branched into two. These two branches, they are called as the bronchus. One branch bronchus and two branches, they are called as the bronchi. These bronchi are the bronchus. They lead into the stomach. They enter the lungs. Lungs are bag-like structure. They are present in the thoracic chamber. The thoracic chamber, it is a closed, airtight chamber. It has dome-shaped diaphragm in the posterior side, vertebral column on the dorsal side, sternum on the ventral side, and ribs on the lateral side. So a closed chamber is formed by means of all these structures. On the ribs and the sternum, they are present external intercostal muscle and internal intercostal muscles. So lungs, they are present in the thoracic cavity, thoracic chamber. So this is airtight. I told you that on the dorsal side, vertebral column, on the ventral side, sternum is present. On the lateral side, ribs are present. And on the lower side, posterior side, dome-shaped diaphragm is present. So then the bronchi which enter the lung, each bronchus enters the lung. It gives branch and rebranch. First we give primary branches, bronchioles, then secondary branches, tertiary branches. These branches then end into sac-like vascular structure, which are irregular in shape, which are called as the alveolus, alveoli. Plural is alveoli, single is alveoli. So bronchioles, the branches of bronchioles, they end into sac-like structure, which are vascularized and irregular. These are called as the alveoli. So these alveoli, they are highly vascularized. So these alveoli, they are the respiratory part. Here exchange of gases occur. They are vascularized and their exchange of gases with the blood. And this nasal chamber, pharynx, trachea, bronchus, their branches, they are all conducting part. So conducting part, it will include nasal chamber, nostril, nasal chamber, trachea, then bronchi, bronchus, bronchioles. and respiratory part where rarely exchange of gases occur. These are alveoli which are highly vascularized. This is all about the structure of respiratory system. How does respiration take place? How does oxygen is taken inside and carbon dioxide is released outside? So it simply follows the method of diffusion. It follows the law of concentration gradient. When the concentration of oxygen inside the lung is less, there is negative pressure inside the lung, oxygen will be taken inside from the atmosphere. It will follow the law of concentration gradient. It will follow the law of diffusion. And when the concentration of carbon dioxide inside the lung is more, that is, the alveoli is more than the atmosphere, then the carbon dioxide will be forced out. So it simply follows the law of concentration. How this occurs, how this concentration gradient is performed. I told you that these lungs, they are lying in airtight, closed chamber, airtight chamber, that is thoracic chamber, thoracic cavity. The pressure in the thoracic cavity, it affects upon the concentration of the volume of the lungs. If the volume of thoracic cavity is more, the volume of lungs will be also expanded. If the volume of thoracic cavity is reduced, the volume of lungs will be also reduced, and ultimately it will affect the pressure gradient. It will affect the concentration gradient. How does it happen? At the time of inspiration, what happens? This diaphragm will contract and it will get straightened. Diaphragm will contract, it will get straightened. The volume of thoracic cavity will be increased posteriorly. The intercostal muscles, which are attached with the sternum and the ribs, external costal muscles, they contract. Ribs are lifted, ribs and sternum, they are lifted upward. So the volume is also increased dorso-ventrally. So in this way, when the volume of the thoracic cavity is increased posteriorly, anterior-posteriorly by the contraction diaphragm, which gets straightened up after contraction, and by the contraction of external costal muscles, the volume is increased dorso-ventrally, the entire volume of the thoracic cavity is increased. So ultimately, volume of lungs will be increased. When the volume is increased, the pressure inside the lungs, it is decreased. Pressure inside the pulmonary cavity will be decreased. So when the negative pressure is created, when the pressure inside the lungs is decreased, what happens? Inspiration will occur. Air will enter inside the body through the nostril and will ultimately come to the alveoli. And when at the time of expiration, what happens? When much more carbon dioxide is formed, it is released to the alveoli by the blood capillaries. The diaphragm will come in its position. It will relax. External costal muscles will also relax. What will happen? The volume of the thoracic cavity will be decreased. And ultimately, the volume of this, lungs will be also decreased, and the pressure gradient will, form, and the carbon dioxide will release out through the nostrils. So, in this way, exchange of gases occurs. So these diaphragm, external costal muscles of the ribs and the sternum, they play a great role in decreasing and increasing the volume of thoracic cavity, and it helps in the inspiration as well as expiration. So the steps which are taken in the breathing, inspiration or the respiration, you can say. First is breathing. What is breathing? Taking in of oxygen, taking in of air and releasing of carbon dioxide. That is called as the breathing. Or you can say respiration. Breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in oxygen, breathing out carbon dioxide. Then is diffusion. Second step is diffusion. When the oxygen reaches to the alveoli through the conducting part, then and blood is having carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide will release to the alveoli, and alveoli will release from the alveoli by the process of diffusion. The oxygen will enter to the blood capillaries. So this is the second part, that is diffusion. Diffusion also occurs at the tissue level. When carbon dioxide is transported to the tissue by the blood, the cellular level, what happens? Then the oxygen is diffused into the tissue and carbon dioxide of the tissue is diffused into the blood, and that carbon dioxide then carried out to the alveoli. So diffusion takes place at the two steps, at the alveolar level as well as at the tissue level. So in this way, and by these steps, inspiration and expiration occurs, breathing occurs. Then how oxygen is transported? Oxygen is transported, 97% of the oxygen is transported through the red blood corpuscles of the blood, and 3% of oxygen is transported through the plasma in which it is dissolved. How it happens? There is a component, there is a chemical present in the RBC, that is hemoglobin. Hemoglobin has much capacity to absorb the oxygen. So oxygen, in the RBC, hemoglobin carries oxygen molecule. It joins with the oxygen molecule and oxyhemoglobin is formed. This is a reversible process. It may also break down to form hemoglobin and oxygen. So in the alveoli, when oxygen is diffused into the blood, hemoglobin of the blood, RBC of the blood, will carry the oxygen molecules and oxyhemoglobin will be formed. And 97% I told you that it is carried by the hemoglobin. One hemoglobin molecule can carry 4 molecules of the oxygen. And then this oxyhemoglobin by the blood is carried to the tissues. There it again breaks down into hemoglobin and oxygen. Oxygen is diffused into the tissue, into the cell, through the cell membrane, and carbon dioxide is released outside, which is again taken by the blood. So how carbon dioxide is transported then? Carbon dioxide, it is transported also through the blood. 20 to 25% of the carbon dioxide is transported through the blood, RBC, or you can say hemoglobin. 70% by forming the bicarbonate ions, and 5% up to through by the plasma. How does it occur? When carbon dioxide is released by the tissues to the blood, the hemoglobin of the blood will carry the carbon dioxide. 4 molecules can be carried by the hemoglobin. It will form carbonyl hemoglobin. It is also a reversible process. And 70% of the carbon dioxide, it will react with the water of the blood, and it will form, in the presence of an enzyme, carbonic anhydrase, it will form carbonate ions. It will form bicarbonate ions, you can say. It is also a reversible process. So all these, they are carried to the alveoli, where again carbonyl hemoglobin dissociates into carbon dioxide and hemoglobin, which is passes to the alveoli, and bicarbonate ion, they also split up into carbon dioxide and water by the carbonic hydrase, and these carbon dioxide molecules which are diffused into the alveoli, Then they are exhaled through expiration. This is all about respiration, how they are carried out. So depending upon the volume of the air by the human being, by a person, there are various terms which are defined. One is tidal volume. What is tidal volume? It is the volume of air inspired or expired during normal respiration. जब हम आराम से सांस लेते हैं, जितना वॉल्यूम हमारे अंदर आता है, या आराम से सांस बाहर छोड़ते हैं, जितना वॉल्यूम एयर का बाहर जाता है, that is called as the tidal volume. It is near about 500 ml. It is 500 ml. And in breathing exercise, 12 to 16 expiration and inspiration breathing exercise takes place per minute. So 6 to 8,000 ml of the air can be taken outside. Then inspiratory reserve volume. What is inspiratory reserve volume? It is the additional volume of air a person can inspire by forcible inspiration. जैसे हम कहते हैं ना, जोर से सांस लो. So in addition to inspiratory volume, जो normal air के normal respiration में होता है, उसके अलावा अगर हम जोर से सांस खींचते हैं, लंबा सांस खींचते हैं, that is called as the inspiratory reserve volume. It is near about 2500 ml to 3000 milliliter. So then is expiratory reserve volume. It is volume of air which a person can expire by forcible expiration. It is in addition to the normal expiration. Normal expiration में जितना होगा उससे जो हम जोर से सांस बाहर निकालेंगे, that will be the expiratory reserve volume. Then is the residual volume. Volume of air remaining in the lungs after forcible respiration. अगर जोर से बाहर हवा निकालते हैं, जोर से सांस बाहर निकालते हैं, जो वॉल्यूम रह जाता है लंग्स में, that is called as the residual volume. So it is near about 1100 to 1200 ml. Then depending upon this volume, the capacity of the lungs has been described. What is that? One is inspiratory capacity. It is the total volume of air a person can inspire after normal expiration. सांस छोड़ने के बाद जब हम सांस लेते हैं normally, that capacity is called as the inspiratory capacity. So it is about it is equal to tidal volume plus inspiratory reserve volume. Then is the expiratory capacity. Total volume of expired after a normal inspiration. सांस लेने के बाद जो वॉल्यूम हम बाहर निकालते हैं, that is called as the expiratory capacity. It is equal to tidal volume plus expiratory reserve volume. Then is the functional residual capacity. It is the volume of air remaining in the lungs after normal expiration. It is called as the functional residual capacity. It is equal to ERV plus RV, that is expiratory reserve volume plus residual volume. Then in the vital capacity, maximum volume of air a person can breathe in after 4 expiration. जोर से सांस निकालने के बाद जो एयर हम अंदर ले सकते हैं, that is called as the vital capacity. The maximum volume of air a person can breathe in after 4 expiration, that is called as the vital capacity. What is the total lung capacity? Total lung capacity, it is the total volume of air accommodated into the lungs after फोर्स्ड इंस्पिरेशन, जब हम जोर से सांस लेते हैं, जो टोटल वॉल्यूम लंग्स में रह जाता है, दैट इज कॉल्ड एज द टोटल, जो टोटल वॉल्यूम अकोमोडेट हो जाता है लंग में, दैट इज कॉल्ड एज द टोटल lung capacity. This is all about to say respiration in human being, and then the respiration at the cellular level will do afterwards when we will do the biomolecules. And then there are, I think you might have followed and like it, share it with your friends and subscribe it. Don't forget to subscribe it. Have a good day. Bye.